Let's roll right into our post-race winning team for today's 44th annual Quicken Loans 400, and our race winner is Dale Earnhardt Jr. He drove the number 88 Diet Mountain Dew, the Dark Knight Rises National Guard Chevrolet for Hendrick Motorsports. He's joined up on the podium by his crew chief, Steve Letarte. And Dale, this is your 19th win in NASCAR Sprint Cup. Second time you won here at Michigan on Father's Day. I know that coming out of yesterday's practice, might not have had best feeling in the world, but I tell you what, you came out here today and you showed that you're a contender for this championship in 2012. Talk about the win here today at Michigan.
Yeah, we had some tough things to overcome this weekend with the tire issues, and they made some changes, and I wasn't very confident after the practice last night. Steve felt pretty good. Talked about how we would the things we would do to the car, and he felt pretty confident. And I was a little nervous when the race started. The car wasn't quite where I needed it to be. We weren't in too big of trouble, but we needed some adjustments. And in that moment, it's really kind of tough to give Steve, or I guess I worry whether he knows exactly where I'm at or what I need with the car, how much I need. But I guess he knows me well enough because he made the right calls and that thing took off to flying. And then he made some pit strategy choices that put us toward the front to where the car could respond. And if we had a fast car, it was going to happen, and it did. So he did a good job. And from there on, we just did everything we had to keep ourselves in the top, 5 or the top 3 to stay in the clean air, because it was definitely difficult in traffic, especially in from 10th on back. It was really a real challenge to run around there. So he did a great job putting the car toward the front, and the car responded when we got there. And I just learned a lot, running around behind people, and learned about what my car was capable of doing, and pushed my car a little bit harder each time we ran around the corner, and found where the car was comfortable and fast, and just tried to maintain a good pace. I was worried about tire issues and stuff like that, even late in the race, because our car kind of started turning better, and I was thinking, well, I'm going to work the right rear a little harder. So I just sort of saved a little bit in my pocket the last 50 laps and run only as hard as I thought I needed to. And at the end of the race, man, that thing was a rocket. I couldn't slow it down. It was so fast.
Steve Letarte, congratulations on this win here today, and maybe just talk about, we started testing here on Thursday, and we tested Friday, then we had a tire change Saturday, and just talk about working through all that, navigating through all that, and now here you are in victory lane.
Yeah, I mean, it's been an eventful weekend. I think it really started back in Pocono. We had some concepts and some ideas in the race car we took there, and it showed speed, so we were excited to get here. And we were pretty comfortable with our car on Thursday, and on Friday we were, disappointed to see the tire trouble because we felt we had pretty good speed, but we understood the situation, understood what needed to be done, and when Goodyear brought the different tire in that short happy hour session, we did the best we could, throwing some things at the car to get feedback on it. And I can't say enough about our guys. It was a long day yesterday, and they left with as much energy as they came in with, and they were ready to go to work this morning. And the engineers put just a tremendous car together with some great ideas, and Hendrick engines stuck together. We went over our laps for sure in practice, and to be able to run 200 strong laps today, it was really a total team effort, and it was good. We had to make adjustments on our car today. We made them early, and then we worked really hard on our pit strategy, and just kind of all worked out. It was great.
Thank you very much. Let's start upstairs in the press box. We'll start upstairs. We got 3 questions up there, and then we'll come back down here. Go ahead, press box. Questions for Dale or Steve?
Monty Dutton, Gaston Gazette. Dale, of the things that changed, this race was run at the laps were at probably a slower pace than they would have because of the change in the tires. But the hardness of the tires probably made things a little treacherous in the turns. What do you think? Did those 2 factors balance each out? Did slowing the cars down help, or did the changes help or hurt? I know they helped you, but I mean just for the difficulty of driving a race car.
The car was a real handful. especially being around other cars. You don't, when they change the tire, it takes away a ton of mechanical grip. So the car really relies a lot on the aero grip from that point on. And when you get around other people, you lose that. So when you have no mechanical and no aero, the car's a real tricky thing to get through the corner. You got to be careful because wherever cars are around you, that changes how the air is displaced from your car. So you just got to know where, if a guy's on your right rear quarter panel, how that's going to change the aerodynamics on your car versus a guy being on the front of your car or out on the on the left side or whatever. So you just kind of got to know that going in the corner and watch out. But I was really disappointed that that they changed the tire. I was just disappointed we were going through the process. I know everybody was. I know NASCAR was, and Goodyear was probably disappointed. But we had worked, for a couple of days pretty hard at getting the thing to work with what we brought here. And then we were making a change, and we were sort of, we were kind of thrown into a deal where we had, an hour to figure it out. But we only had 25 laps on our motor. Our motor tuner wouldn't let us run more than that, even if we weren't. I told Steve, I said, what if we're going to go into this last practice with 25 laps, and what if my car's junk? And he says, we can't practice no more. I mean, that's how strict of a deal it is. So I was desperate in that last practice to get something to work, and when it ended, I still wasn't really sure if we were where we needed to be. And I woke up this morning just antsy, not knowing how this was going to play out. We'd done so well up to this point, cognizant of the top tens and the laps we've ran and how steady we've been all year. And I just want to keep that going each weekend. And I felt like that we might be getting ready to have a difficult race. It turned out to be the exact opposite for whatever reason. But I was just disappointed we were kind of going through that process. And I know that at the time I didn't know if it was the right decision or not. We got to put on a race today without any problems, without any tire problems. So I assume that, everything's okay. And everybody, we'll probably have to tire test here again and figure out something a little bit better than this. But because this definitely ain't the answer. But, we got through the weekend okay. And we didn't have any trouble with guys blistering tires because we're going pretty fast out there with this new surface. To have tires blistering and coming apart, I would have hated to see anything, happen to anybody or even myself with a tire failure or something like that at that speed.
Stay upstairs, press box. Go ahead.
Nate Ryan, USA Today. Dale, kind of a two-part thing. Matt Kenseth said after the race that he considers your team probably like the premier threat right now to win the championship, and I know that you got a lot of congratulations on the way to victory lane from other drivers. I know Jeff Gordon and I think Jimmy Johnson both came in and congratulated. What's it mean, I guess, to have one, people happy for you, that your peers are happy that you entered that drought, but two, they're also talking about you as a title contender?
Well, I guess it means I'm an all right dude. When people are happy for you, want to see you do good, that's the way I feel about people. When I want to see good people do good things, and I want to see people that I think are, good people have success and be happy. So, I feel like we're getting stronger. One of the things that we did last year throughout the season was kind of maintain, and I was a little, even though I was happy as hell to be with Steve and be able to run well and be competitive, I was a little disheartened that I didn't progress through the year. Really, I didn't find more speed as the year went on. We just kind of stayed the same throughout the season, and maybe Steve looks at it a little different than I do. We don't talk about that much, but this year we've gotten faster throughout the year. We started off pretty quick, and we've gotten quicker and quicker, especially these last couple of weeks. So that's been a thrill for me. I don't know really where we stand in the competition level or what have you, where we are as far as being a threat to win the title. I think that's a great compliment from Matt. But we just want to, we just kind of kept our nose to the grindstone to try to win a race. We'll just try to keep doing that to try to win the next race and see what happens.
Stay upstairs, press box. Go ahead, please.
Rachel Lindsay from the Toledo Blade. Looking back 4 years ago, what was that like to win 4 years ago to the day? What do you remember from that day, and is it the same feeling as you have today?
Unfortunately, it was. I was so nervous in the last few laps of that race 4 years ago, and today, this was the worst. That was the worst feeling, riding around there with 15 laps to go, wondering what was going to happen, or how you were going to lose. So I was just thinking, man, those laps couldn't go by fast enough. I was like, I got a big lead. I'm going to take it easy. No, I'm going to run hard, get it over with. So I was in there just going crazy, thinking, and I'm looking all around the racetrack for, hoping there's no debris around the next corner. I just knew I was going to come around the next corner and see a piece of metal laying in the racetrack. I just was waiting on something to happen, So that was terrifying, to be honest with you. And I kept thinking about Steve and the team and how hard we've worked and how we deserve to win and how we should win. And was hoping it would happen for everybody. That was, but that race 4 years ago was a fuel mileage race, and today we just whooped them really good. So that felt good.
Let's come downstairs. Questions for Dale. Let's go with Lee, Bob, and Joe.
Lee Spencer, Fox Sports. Not to take anything away from your win, but what does the guy next to you mean to you? I mean, it just seems since the two of you, and I know, you guys are both really humble, but the turnaround that since the two of you have gotten together, it's just really clicked.
It has. We've been doing some great things. He's hard to compliment because he doesn't take it very well. But him and that team, they can have all the credit. My engineers and Steve sit in that lounge every weekend and make the car go. They make it turn. They make it whatever I want it to do. If I ask them, this is my problem and this is where we're hurting, they get together and they fix it. And during the race, just like today, every week we start the race and all right, we're going to have a few issues. These are the issues, and Steve fixes them. He gets with his engineers and they make it better. And that's amazing to me. Him and that whole team, deserve, especially today, that car, and it wouldn't matter who was driving it today. That car was going to be the fastest thing out there and going to win the race. So that car, deserves all the credit, and so the guys that put it together deserve all the credit. And, Steve's just really sharp. He called a great race. I trust in him to do that every week, and I know he will. I just trust that he's gonna, he's looking out not for the best interest of just me. He looks out for the entire team and puts great people around himself to be able to do the job right. We have a good group. This today really solidifies and justifies our efforts, and we can move forward to try to do more good things. So I think this is really great for everybody. But Steve, and when you go to the shop and watch him kind of work, and you can see where this team, you can see how this team is as good as it is by just being in the shop and watching him sort of dictate and move pieces around on a chessboard. I mean, he's really sharp.
Let's go with Bob, Joe Menzer, and then David. Go ahead, Bob.
Bob Hocker, Sporting News. Steve, was there ever? Can you talk about what point you knew that you had a driver who still kind of had the passion and still could win races since you started working with him?
I probably unloaded a new Smyrna probably a year ago February. I mean, never in a moment or a day did I ever question his desire to drive. We sat down kind of when the whole deal came together. We spent some time that off season. We went to Vegas for the banquet and a couple other things, and I kind of laid out what I thought would be a good plan to approach the season, no different than I would for any of the other years. And he was completely on board, gave his opinion on things, which are great. Anytime you can get an opinion of a veteran driver, a guy that's won that many races, it only makes your team stronger. And we went to New Smyrna to do nothing but make laps. And from that day forward, we've been, all steam ahead. One thing I can say, we've had bad runs, good runs, disagreements, agreements. But I can say from the day we started working together, I hope he's never questioned my desire to improve the team and to run well. And I'd never have questioned his desire and where he stands as far as the team and what our goals are when we come in here. And That's hard. It's a long season.